Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a time machine to the 1960s and 70s to talk about a star who didn't just act, she pushed boundaries. Her name is Stella Stevens, and yes, you may remember her from films, TV, and magazine covers. But there's another chapter of her story that still gets people talking, a set of photos where she wore a G-string, images that were bold, provocative, and utterly memorable. Let's unpack why those pictures mattered then, and why they still matter now. Stella Stevens built a career on more than a pretty face. She was an actress, a singer, and a performer who brought energy and confidence to every role. In an entertainment world that sometimes tried to box women into safe, forgettable parts, Stella showed up bright, loud, and unmistakable. That personality is exactly what made those G-string photos so headline-worthy. They were not accidental. They were a statement. What is a G-string, and why did it cause such a stir? A G-string is a very minimal swimsuit or undergarment designed to reveal more than most mainstream fashion of the day. Today, pieces that reveal skin are common. Beachwear, fashion shoots, and social media have all pushed boundaries. But in the 1960s and 70s, mass audiences weren't used to seeing mainstream stars choose such revealing looks. When Stella posed in that style, magazines sold out, dinner table conversations ignited, and opinions flew fast. Some applauded her audacity. Others bristled at what they called too much. Here's the important bit. Stella wasn't being gratuitous. She was exercising choice. At a time when women were battling cultural expectations about how to dress, how to behave, and how to be seen, her images tested the limits of what a public woman could own about her body and image. For many fans, her photos felt freeing, an embrace of self-possession. For critics, they were a provocation. Either way, Stella controlled the narrative in a way a lot of women simply could not. Public reaction was a mix of shock, admiration, and commercial attention. Tabloids and magazines ate it up. Film producers and publicity people noticed. Importantly, those images didn't erase Stella's talent. They became part of a larger persona, glamorous, a little dangerous, and always in charge of her image. People talked about the photos, but they also showed up to see her in films and on TV, where her range and charisma continued to shine. Looking back now, it's easier to see the cultural ripple. Stella's choice to pose in daring swimwear came during an era of big social shifts, the sexual revolution, the rise of second-wave feminism, and changes in fashion that rejected strict Victorian modesty. When a popular actress made a bold fashion choice, it wasn't just about fashion. It helped expand the window for what was possible. Younger women saw a public figure being unapologetic. Photographers, stylists, and magazines began to test new aesthetics. That tiny seam of change helped open the door for future conversations about women's autonomy and expression. There's also a lesson in how we talk about women's bodies. Too often, bold images of women get reduced to a single reaction, praise or shame. But the fuller story about Stella shows nuance. She used imagery to amplify her brand. She pushed personal boundaries on her terms, and she accepted the praise and criticism that came with being visible. Standing there, photographed, publicized, debated, she proved that agency matters more than approval. What should you take away from this? First, context matters. Those photos shocked because they arrived at a particular cultural moment. Second, choice matters. Whether you love the look or find it confrontational, Stella made her own call, and that independence is at the heart of why her images still land. Third, cultural shifts rarely happen in one moment. They happen because many people, artists, fans, critics, respond, push back, and change the conversation little by little. Stella Stevens's G-string photos are more than gossip fodder. They're a snapshot of a shifting era and an outspoken woman who refused to be only what others decided she should be. They remind us that style, sexuality, and self-expression are often political, even when they look like nothing more than a beach photo. Alright, that's our look at Stella Stevens and those unforgettable images. What do you think? Were the photos empowering, shocking, or somewhere in between? Drop your thoughts in the comments, be kind to one another, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like and subscribe for more stories from pop culture's bold moments. Thanks for watching, see you next time.